Welcome to the Lounge Lizards podcast. It's so good to have you here. It's a leisure and lifestyle podcast founded on our love of premium cigars, as well as whiskey, travel, food, work, and whatever else we feel like getting into. My name is Gizmo, and tonight I'm joined by Rooster, Senator, Grinder, and Bam Bam. And our plan is to smoke a cigar, drink some bourbon, talk about life, and of course, have some laughs. So take this as your 73rd official invitation to join us and become a card-carrying lounge lizard. Plan to meet us here once a week. We're going to smoke a New World cigar tonight, share our thoughts on it, and give you our formal lizard rating. We discuss Jose Garcia's wide range of influence. We share our thoughts on the best cigar storage conditions and cigar freezing protocols. And we discuss the Cuban World Baseball Classic defector, all among a variety of other things for the next 90 minutes. So sit back, get your favorite drink, light up a cigar, and enjoy as we pair Basil Hayden's Kentucky Bourbon with the Don Pepin Garcia Blue in Lancero. A beautiful Lancero is from Don Pepin Garcia tonight. It's the blue label. It's a 7.5-inch cigar, 38 ring gauge, of course. Continuing in our series of doing long skinnies on the pod, which I think is coming to a close soon because we're running out.
It's a shame.
It's a shame. And we've actually had some listeners like, hey, we need to do some big sticks. We need to do some big sticks. So we're going to get into the higher ring gauge stuff soon. But tonight we have a 3-banded, beautiful cigar from Ecuador, Nicaragua, right? Is the origin of this thing?
Yeah.
Ecuadorian wrapper.
Ecuadorian wrapper and Nicaraguan binder and filler.
Yeah. Looks really good. Smells really nice.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. We used to have foot band, so it has one of the famous
Any Scotch tape there?
foot band. There is Scotch tape, but it slides right off. So
it comes off rather easily.
Yeah, there's no torture in the foot.
As
band.
long as it comes off easily, I'm okay with it because it kind of protects the foot,
Agreed.
right?
Yep.
So,
This is the first foot band, though, that's actually come off easily.
yeah,
That's
I don't mind
slides
this
off.
at all.
Yeah,
If they
Don
were all
Pepin
like
Garcia
this-
needs to talk to the EP Carrillo people
Yes.
and advise them on how to apply a Scotch tape foot band without destroying the wrapper.
I've too many of those cigars I've had to mangle because of the Scotch tape.
It's just unfortunate and unnecessary. All right, boys, let's cut this thing. See, we're getting on the cold draw of the wrapper.
Also, I don't think you need it because it comes in a cellophane. If it didn't come in a cellophane,
It does seem redundant, right?
Yeah.
And especially with a cigar that has a wrapper that look like it's a really nice looking cigar.
It's a beautiful cigar.
Like I don't see why it's necessary, but
Draws wide open.
yeah. So I've only had one of these. Senator gave me one. I know Rooster's really been enjoying these Senator too.
Mm.
Have you guys been having them, Grinder, Bam?
I've had one.
I've had one recently. It's delicious.
Compliments of Senator. This is
The cold draw is really unique.
on the top, I think, 10 of the New Worlds for sure. For me.
I'm getting like an odd kind of cocoa, which is really nice.
I know it's going to be great.
Yeah, like a faint white chocolate type of thing I'm getting.
I almost get like a minty thing too.
Not me.
Almost like a
Little mint chocolate chip.
York peppermint patty. That's what I was just about to say.
That
Little
could
York peppermint
Be, that
patty.
could be the cedar.
Could be.
I think that could be the cedar. Yeah. Very nice cigar.
your
Awesome.
palates are so refined.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Oh,
interesting.
Oh, yeah. It might be the York peppermint patty I just had before the recording, but
That don't help.
no. I'm kidding. All right, boys, let's light this thing. The Don Pepin Garcia blue label Lancero. Again, it's 38 ring gauge by 7.5 inches.
You know, as we light this, you can't light this with a true torch. It's got to be a gentle flame.
Yeah, you got to take it easy. I really just back off my butane.
Soft flame.
It's got to be very soft. Yeah.
Man, we really riled up the listeners with our soft flame versus butane jet discussion.
Well, that's
Very, very
you got to apply
polar
force.
topic.
You apply force when it's needed. No pun intended.
What would be punny about
I'm
that?
not sure why that's funny. Why is that funny?
Is it you, Bam? I love you. Really nice on the light.
It's delicious.
That's delicious.
I'm getting some pretty deep cocoa, some cedar. It's really quite nice.
I am getting a little pepper. on
Yeah,
the
a little
back.
pepper,
Yeah.
just a little bit of spice.
I also just the construction. I mean, we were talking about all the bands and the foot band and all that, but the construction on this thing for the price point, it's flawless.
flawless.
So
I
what is
mean,
this, $8?
Yeah, I was about to ask, how
Yeah,
much is
9.
this?
Wow.
9.
It's incredible.
It's a $9 fundy.
You said that about my father, and you
This,
weren't.
this
you-
one too.
You weren't wrong.
And they're from the
I
same. They're from the same family, right?
I think me and Senator had this when I first got it. I had one, then I gave him one.
Yeah.
And I remember him saying, this reminds him
More
more
of a
To
fundy.
me,
More of a
this
fundy,
is more fundy like
more
than
like
the My
Cuban
Father.
flavor out
Yeah.
of this cigar than the My Father number 4 Lancero
Sure.
that we had.
The My Father is, for me, there's more earth tone, which you don't get in a lot of Cubans, but in this one I'm getting a lot of dried fruit, cocoa, which you get in
Yeah.
some of the more premium
Some
Cubans.
sweet notes.
I agree with that.
Right?
And I think this is a little bit on the fuller side compared to the My Father as well.
100%.
But smooth. Delivery smooth.
Yeah.
On the light, I would say it's medium, firmly
Yeah.
medium.
Yeah, I actually think that this is a little bit lighter for some reason than the My Father.
Really?
I don't think this has more body than that does.
I actually forgot how good this cigar is.
It's really nice on the
Dude.
light. The smoke is it's a thick, really nice smoke, great combustion.
Yeah.
And we love that, especially out of a thinner ring gauge cigar like this, to have the combustion that this is putting out is really, really nice.
I have some weird like leather in the retro hail for me.
Yeah. I haven't tried the retro yet.
Weird
Oh,
in
yeah.
a good way. In
And a little spice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Spice and leather.
Yeah, this is really. I can't believe that this is $9. Like that's crazy to me. It's
You know-
crazy when a Fundadores now is selling, I think, for $85 a stick. I mean, the Cohiba Lancero, same. I mean, and look at the experience we had with the Fundy a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was, kind of hit or miss.
Y'all broke my heart with that one, but I get it.
I just think it was a kind of a dud of a box. but-
Yeah. From the
yeah.
point of view of the Vitola, there is nothing more elegant than a Lancero.
I just love holding it in my hand
It
like
just-
this, like a pencil.
It elevates the experience. And Rooster, you look much sexier with a Lancero in your hand than you do a Robusto.
Thank you, sir.
You got it.
You do look good.
Doesn't
Very
he look good?
He looks very civilized.
Look at
Does it
him.
look better with my left hand or my right hand?
No, just your left hand. The way you hold
Nah,
it
left better.
with the 4 finger, like you have a 3-4
I
finger.
got to move this table to my right then.
You see how Senator's holding? He's got 3 fingers on what? I'm trying to. I like that. I like
See,
that.
this is what
Yeah,
I do.
I do this too
Oh,
often.
it's like you're painting a canvas.
Like, yeah.
This
okay.
is
I
like
do that with a larger ring gauge, but for some reason with a smaller one, I kind of
Go like this.
hold it and just admire it. I don't know.
Right.
It's,
How about-
it's different?
how about the
I got a lot of jokes on that one.
there's everyone has their own fingerprint. Everyone has their own unique way of holding cigars.
It's true.
You know, how I'm curious to
I
hear the
do
listeners
this.
how they
Yeah.
what are their signature marks,
One finger here. And
Oh,
So
that
you
is
do the
interesting.
thumb and pinky
Three on the
under.
Yeah.
Thumb and pinky under. I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, I don't like it at all.
Yeah, it looks a little uncomfortable.
Yeah. He just gave us another finger. An additional finger came into play. A 6th finger. Yeah, this is really, really nice on the light, man.
or this. Like a pencil.
The distinguished gentleman you are.
I'm pretty much always like this,
All right.
actually.
Like holding it like a
Like a
paintbrush or
like
something.
a
like a
uh,
Mont
pool
Blanc.
cue.
Got a Mont Blanc in your hand.
Not a pool cue, actually. That's like a pencil kind of.
I've been smoking a lot of Lanceros. I mean, even outside of the pod, we've obviously done a pretty long block of Lanceros and Lonsdales, but I've just been really reaching for the Lancero. It's
Yeah.
that perfect amount of time. When I sit down, I usually have that like hour and a half, hour 45. It's like perfect.
Yep.
Especially at home, reading the Kindle or whatever.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's the way to go. It's really, really nice. So Don Pepin Garcia, Jose Garcia is his real name. He is the blender for My Father Cigars. And this came out of the My Father Cigar factory. And you said it was manufactured in Miami, Rooster?
Miami. Yeah. It's a small factory called El Rey Dos Habanos.
Okay.
In Miami, there's only about a dozen rollers.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I assume they do have a factory in Nicaragua that they roll, the rest of the cigars.
Mm.
But this particular one is rolled.
Interesting.
So he also has done Tatuaje, Flor de las Antillas.
Yeah.
Yep. And then one I wasn't familiar. I guess it's the DPG, the Don Pepin Garcia Cuban Classic is another line of his. Not familiar with it, but obviously a very, very popular blender and manufacturer of cigars in the industry. And no surprise. I mean, that My Father number 4 we had was amazing.
Off the charts.
This is really starting off great.
Sure.
Yeah. Warped.
Warped.
Yeah.
That was good.
That was
The
excellent.
Warped was
That
amazing.
was a Lonsdale, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Maestro del Tiempo, but that's not his. That's
No.
a
You're right.
younger guy with a big beard. His name is escaping me. I think his name's Nick.
Okay. The smoke, the flavor of that smoke.
The aroma's delicious.
It's outstanding.
Well, that's
Right
the other thing I like about this cigar. The smoke output is really nice. I think all of us like Lanceros, but one of the things that makes me hesitate sometimes to pull a Lancero is just the risk that the draw is going to be tight and I'm
Yeah.
not going to get a lot of smoke output.
It's true.
So I'm always thinking about that. But I love with this cigar. I mean, the draw is wide open, lots of smoke. It kind of can fit at any moment or time.
I really wish that Padron made a Lancero in the 64 line.
Well,
That would be great.
that Monarca that they have is
Yeah, I
kinda,
think that's a Lonsdale.
it is, but from the
Monarca.
point of view of the ring gauge and length,
Yeah.
it gives you a similar
I
experience.
just wish it was like, even if it was
Yeah.
a box press,
Oh,
subtle
yeah,
box
yeah.
press 38,
That'd be amazing.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I'm starting to see a lot of Lanceros coming up though.
Really?
Like
Yeah.
Davidoff, the Millennium is coming up.
We
Yeah.
can't
They just
wait.
did the signature #1.
Can't wait for that.
So yeah,
So
so
see-
Millennium Lancero is a new one coming out, right?
That's coming out, in a couple of weeks. I
That
think,
will
or
be
in
a
April,
tremendous hit.
Mid-April.
April 6th.
April.
Yeah.
So,
Should be a
yeah.
tremendous hit.
Can you like pre-order them?
Yeah.
We should do that.
Not everywhere, but some places.
We should do that.
I found one site. I'll send a link.
Yes.
Yeah, we should get them for the pod because we love the Millennium,
Pyramid
obviously
baby?
a Pyramid.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I can't wait to try that.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of the signature #1. I guess we'll do that at some point on the pod. But you guys love that cigar.
We do.
It's excellent.
Yeah.
It's an excellent morning, midday cigar, without a
Agreed.
doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of cedar.
Yeah, and I get. You're gonna laugh, but I do get citrus.
Citrus.
I do.
Citrus.
I
and,
do.
and it's very creamy.
For the
It's
listeners
there.
playing Bam Bam Bingo, you can mark
I-
your citrus.
I get citrus. I get citrus. Totally.
Yeah, right.
There's probably no cigar that you don't get citrus out of.
That is absolutely not true.
That is
Categorically incorrect.
I just can't believe they manufacture and sell these cigars for $9. I can't get over it.
Yeah.
I mean, the value, even if this performs,
Don't say that too loud. We don't want the price to go up.
yeah, well, the rest of the industry is certainly trending that way.
There's a lot of New World cigars like this though that are sleepers that
Yeah,
we
and we've found so many
we
of them.
need
We
to
have.
engage with
We do.
because there's a lot of great manufacturers out there. There's a lot of great people who know their tobacco, who are rolling tobacco, know how to roll it the right way.
Yeah.
And are in it for the right reason, not just like a marketing scheme.
Yeah, send us recommendations.
Yeah,
We'd
we've
love
gotten-
to try something.
Oh,
We've
new.
actually got some
Yeah.
listener recommendations coming up. The one
Fantastic.
that's in the queue is we love the Ilusión Cruzado Robusto.
Yeah.
So we have what they call the Holy Lance, which is a Maduro Lancero from Ilusión.
Love
We
the
have that
names.
coming up in a few weeks. I'm really excited for that.
You know
because
what?
that-
I'm excited for the Drew Estate Year of the Rabbit. Did you see that?
No.
Is it the Year of the Rabbit?
Yeah, it is the year of this year.
They have them only available in Hong Kong right now. I don't know why or how, but only available there.
I didn't even
And
know
then-
Drew Estate distributed to Hong Kong. Wow.
Yeah.
I-
They're big in Asia.
Yeah, and my my mentor and friend, he got a box of them because of his connection at Drew Estate,
Awesome.
and he said they were fantastic, very T52
And
like.
what was the size on those? It wasn't a Lancero, was it?
No, it
Oh,
wasn't
okay,
Lancero.
okay.
No. I was just speaking generally about New Worlds.
To Rooster's point earlier, though, about a lot of Lanceros coming out, I mean, it's kind of funny when you think about it. It's like Cuban cigars are trending with larger ring gauges coming out, like all these new limited releases they're putting out, and New World cigars, it's like they're going in the opposite direction, all
true.
these Lanceros.
Yeah.
Which I like.
Well, as Grinder says, Habanos is just 5 years behind of everything. I mean,
well, they
so-
can't spell. I mean, that's a problem.
they can't spell connoisseur. That's
No.
that's a damn shame.
Not sure about the pairing tonight, though. Should we talk about that?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
That's the elephant in the room. Everyone's shitting on this fucking bourbon.
Wow. It's honestly, it has gotten better.
Let's see. So we have Basil Hayden, let's just say it's a very popular
Oh, yeah.
bourbon.
It
Oh,
is.
yeah.
It's
Extremely.
very popular.
Yeah.
Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey from Basil Hayden tonight.
Yep. Getting a lot of floral on this, very strong floral notes.
Yeah. It's just to me it's just weak.
Yeah, it's very light.
It's very light and weak.
I was gonna say that I thought maybe I watered mine down too much.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, because I took a sip right when it was poured before the ice could take over.
Yeah.
And immediately just very thin.
Yeah.
Very light.
No legs at all.
I'll be
No.
honest. I'm not digging the harshness of bourbon recently. I kind of like it.
Oh,
I'm a little. I didn't shit on it because I shit on it because of memory.
Yeah.
It's
Interesting.
not so bad.
I used to
But
drink
my-
quite a bit of Basil Hayden.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
is that
it's-
right? You?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, about 10 years ago.
Okay.
I think if you don't like a sharp, if you're averse to the harshness of a bourbon, this might be a good run for you.
Yeah.
I think to Grinder's point, like it's probably a good starter bourbon. Like it doesn't drink bold or aggressive, and even having this now, I'm just thinking about like if I had to drink this, when would I drink it? Like this would work in the summer. It's so light and floral, like Bam was saying. I mean, it really kind of slots in certain places.
Bam's not sold though.
He's
Yeah.
mulling it over. He's stewing almost.
No, I'm not. But it's the potpourri nature of it that kind of makes my stomach turn a little bit.
Mm.
It's very potpourri.
Do you think it would pair with a different cigar better?
I don't know.
Probably one with some citrus in it. Right?
Yeah. I need a citrusy cigar. Number
More
one. There you go.
So this is owned by the Jim Beam company, Beam Suntory. It's
Massive.
brewed at they make a ton of this stuff. And it's very, very popular. It was only $33.
Yep. Wow.
So, for a
Hence
light
its
bourbon like that.
popularity in
Yeah,
Hawaii.
yeah. People love it,
Yeah.
I
Good
see a
for-
lot of people drinking this,
Good for
especially like
parties. and so on.
people love it at like a happy hour after, before dinner type thing,
Mm.
The bottle actually looks pretty nice.
It
I
is
was just
actually. I
gonna
think they
say
just
that.
redesigned it recently. I think in the last couple of years, I think they did a full redesign. But I like the copper
Copper
band
band.
on it with the silver BH logo.
I assure you that's
Kind of
faux copper.
classy.
Yeah.
I assumed, Bam, but trying to paint a picture for the listeners
I
here.
got
Well,
Gotcha.
let's throw it
With
on
my
the,
Lancero paintbrush.
let's throw it on the floor and make sure it doesn't break like that tiger thing.
The
Oh,
dragon on
God.
that was garbage. That was garbage. But this is pretty good. It's thin.
Is
it's
it bringing
weak.
memories back for you?
Yeah, not good ones.
Oh, do share.
You can imagine.
We like the good and the bad here.
We'll have his sync on the podcast next. We'll get all the stories.
You're gonna
Oh,
need
he
a lot of
was-
Basil Hayden's.
He was doing a lot of payroll
I-
that week.
Don't laugh. This will get you to the sink really quick.
By the way, for the listener who's uninitiated on the roast of Gizmo, I don't remember what episode it was. Quite a while ago, in 22.
Well, we know what episode it was. It was the episode that we reviewed, Chivas 18.
Chivas 18.
Just look for that in the episode notes.
Just look for it. Thank you,
Holy
Senator.
smokes.
Quick.
That was
quick.
draw there.
That was quick. I gotta give it to
He'll
him.
never forget that.
Oh, yeah.
He had that plumbing bill to pay.
Yeah.
That's why.
He put his overalls on and took care of things.
It's all coming back to me.
So the one thing we didn't mention, Rooster, I'm surprised about the cigar is that it has a pigtail,
Yeah.
which you
Yeah.
are so fond of.
Yes.
Kind of classic to the
Love
Cohiba
pigtails.
Lancero,
Yeah.
which we're going to do on an upcoming episode as well. See how Cuba fares in the battle. But
I almost want to find a cigar with a pigtail that's bad and just to see what Rooster rates it. I've
I'm
never
giving it-
seen him say a bad
gonna
thing
give
about
it a
cigar
9.
with pigtail.
it's
Well,
a 7,
just-
but the pigtail makes it an
Just the
8.5.
pigtail gets an extra point. Listen, some of the best cigars in the world have pigtails.
Mm,
Bejiques.
yeah.
It's true.
There's a
Very true.
reason.
You know what's weird? Actually, man, this is a question that I really need to get an answer to at some point. What makes a cigar company decide to use and roll a pigtail on a certain cigar versus another?
I think my understanding is that the Cohiba Lancero, the Liquito number 1, it came with a pigtail. It was like, that was kind of its classic to the Cohiba Lancero. And I think that these sizes are imitations, just in size, of the Cohiba
But
Lancero.
the
with
Bejique
pigtails.
Bejique 52 and 54 ring gauge have a pigtail.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Usually you would see pigtails on smaller ring gauges, I think maybe
Mhm.
because of aesthetics or
Maybe.
but yeah, I don't
There's
know
a
why
lot
there's
of
one on
larger.
Bejique. Yeah.
Like
great.
even the Davidoff Dominicana, does that have a pigtail?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
it does.
and that's like a
Yeah.
52.
I know.
It's weird. It's good. It'd be good to get an
Yeah,
answer
I
on
don't-
that.
I would love to know.
It might
Yeah, I
just
don't
be
know
tradition.
what makes them
you know?
decide to
Or
do
they
that.
think it's classier or a little more elegant with the pigtail on.
Giz, call Habanos SA. They'll give you an answer.
I will. I'll call them tomorrow
Yeah,
morning.
call your guy.
Yeah. My God. Yeah. That's how I get quickly banned from the Habanos Festival.
Jaime.
Them figuring out who I am. So I don't think that, despite what I came into this episode thinking, I don't think this is a bad pairing. I think that the cigar is going to outpunch the bourbon, but it's working for me.
I'm okay with it. It's
The-
it's also a very readily accessible bourbon, right?
Yes.
You can get it anywhere.
Yeah.
It's very cheap.
And
Yeah,
in a
it's cheap.
pinch, it'll do.
So this was originally distilled in 1992, the Basil Hayden brand, and by the Hayden family. And I guess it was acquired at some point by Jim Beam, I'm assuming in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. And that's, alongside the bourbon boom, this was one of the brands. I guess this is still a boutique brand in some way. Certainly a name. I don't know about it anymore, but it certainly rose to what it is now. I would say in the last 10 years,
Yeah.
15
Yeah,
years.
I mean, it's basically in every single bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
I mean,
gonna say
It really
yeah.
is.
It's
You,
everywhere.
you would struggle not to find it in a bar.
I can't get over how good this is. It's just.
I
getting
feel like we're
better
not
and
even into
better.
the second third. We're still into the first third, and I feel like it's already changing in a really, really positive
it's
way.
truly delicious.
Yeah.
It really is.
I love the wrapper on this.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so smooth.
Yeah.
Right?
There's two bands on it aside from the foot band we already took off. There's a really ornate blue, various blues gold band, Don Pepin Garcia, and then underneath it there's a thin band that just says the word original.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's the original line of his
It's the original Fundadores.
the original Fundy.
They have Fundadores in the name for this product. It's really
No.
bizarre.
Do they really?
I swear to
Mhm.
God.
Come on, it's on the
Google-
box.
I just read it. Yeah.
Google
Really?
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you look it up, the name shows up.
What does that word mean? Is there a meaning to the word fundadores?
Oh, in Spanish?
Yeah.
Fundamental,
Ah, is that right? Okay.
I think.
All right, Google.
Don't ask a question unless you know the answer to it.
Founders is the
Founders,
literal
yeah.
translation.
Founders.
Yeah.
That's close.
But a
Founder.
lot of things when you search this cigar, it says Don Pepin Garcia Blue Label Fundadores.
Hmm.
But on that, I'm actually very curious. Based on the flavor notes you're getting in this first quarter, let's say, of the cigar, do you get Cuban-esque notes?
I
Yeah.
do absolutely.
Yes.
It doesn't taste like a Cuban, but
No.
it has notes that a Cuban has.
Well, for everything we discussed like a few minutes ago, the fruit and that light cocoa.
I just say that because I really think that this smokes more like a Cuban than the My Father Lancero. that
I
we
agree
did.
with you so far.
There's no
Like
doubt.
that, I would pick out instantly.
Yeah.
So obviously, New World. Where this, I would like think about it for a second.
It resonates. I remember when you said that in that review in that pod, and it didn't connect at me, at that time, but here I definitely resonates.
Now, if I had to ask you which one you like better, the My Father and this guy.
Oh, we
this guy.
just started. that.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
of right this moment,
Right
in the
this
cigar.
yeah.
I think this one, but I really do like the My Father number 4. But I'm gonna
Oh, it's
reach for
great.
these two in different situations.
Yeah, I like this so far much more than I
But
do the.
to Senator's point, there was a rub on that cigar, I believe, because it didn't finish very well, right?
No, it finished.
Or no,
great.
it finished.
It
It finished.
finished
It finished stronger. Sorry.
Yeah, beautifully
So
actually.
we'll
think-
see.
I think
right?
the only one who didn't love that cigar was Puba.
Cuba.
Of course.
The other thing too that I think needs to be noted for Nicaraguan tobacco is how this isn't very Nicaraguan
No,
to
it's
me.
not.
No.
Great point.
Like if you told me
great
this
point.
was Ecuadorian through and through, if this was Dominican through and through, I would believe you. But the fact that these manufacturers are finding ways to use Nicaraguan tobacco to create something that's maybe as close to Cuban in this size that we've had so far
Yeah.
is pretty shocking to me.
Curious if the seed is Cuban seed.
So I've wondered sometimes, because oftentimes, a lot of Dominican manufacturers and growers will say, we have Cuban seed tobacco, right? Or wherever. But it never tastes like Cuban
No.
cigars, right?
Because it's the soil.
It's
I
the
guess.
soil.
Yeah.
It's not
So
the seed.
so what are you actually saying by you have Cuban seed
It's
tobacco?
a marketing
It's
ploy.
marketing,
is,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like saying you're going to take some vine of Cabernet grapes from Napa and plant it in New Jersey, and it's going to taste like a Napa cat. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like all the soil, the
Yeah.
climate.
So this
Can you
is, by
imagine?
the way, this is Cuban seed.
It is Cuban
It
seed.
is Cuban seed grown in
Infected.
Nicaragua, but I
Yeah.
just don't think that matters because we've
I
had
don't-
so many Cuban seeds
Sure.
that they taste nothing like it.
Sure.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Like we said, it's a marketing ploy.
Yeah, this is really
I mean,
relaxing.
nonetheless, it's very good.
It's so good.
It is delicious.
No matter however they blended it, I mean, it's delicious.
Delicious.
Yeah.
The fact that I could sell one of my boxes of Fundadoras right now and buy 10 boxes of these is.
Are you going to do that?
I'm thinking about it. I mean, this is really great.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're not going to.
You would do that?
He's not going to.
You wouldn't do that.
No way.
I might.
I mean, just the fact that, you're paying like $40, $50, $60 for some of those Cuban Lanceros and Lonsdales, and this is like under $10.
Yeah.
And the amount of satisfaction you get out of this, it's
Off the charts.
And I've smoked a lot of these. The construction every time
Flawless,
and
yeah.
every one is perfect.
never a bad one.
Nope.
That's
When you
never the
pu-
case with a Fundy.
When you pull a Cuban Lancero or Lonsdale, you're stressing a little bit that it's not going to draw. Like, it's absolutely in the back of my mind. Every time I stand at my tower, I'm like, all right, I'm going to do that. And they put a little asterisk in my mind that this might not go well.
That very
You know?
expensive Cuban Lancero.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And then plus, if it's not kept absolutely perfectly at the right humidity, then, there's more moisture and then it even tightens up more. It's just like,
Ugh,
it's a recipe for
that's
disaster.
the heartbreak.
Another reason why that price increase is just crowding out the people you want to not crowd out.
Yeah.
Because people that know are going to look at that and be like, yeah, I mean, I'm going to have an attrition rate that's higher than normal, and I'm paying all this for stuff that I'm going to throw away. Therefore, the actual price per cigar is going up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wonder if it's going to backfire, on Habanos one day, and people are just going to realize, like,
Hope so.
That's-
why.
I mean, look at us.
yeah,
We're the prime candidates for having an absolute change in experience and change of heart.
Yeah.
I mean, all of us are coming in here with New World Lanceros on a weekly, even daily basis that are not Cuban.
yeah.
Says the one that's got 100 boxes of Cohiba in his drawer.
That's not true. That is not true.
Have you run out of space?
No. No, I'm doing good.
God bless you.
Yeah. Doing all right. I may sell some stuff, get some customs. We'll see, but I'm not.
We'll ask you next month.
I am not going to
Yeah.
outgrow.
How-
I'm not going to outgrow my vault.
How's the freeze been working out for you?
The freeze was great.
How long did that last? 2 hours?
So, I thought you were saying the freeze protocol. My
I
customs.
want- Wait. I do want to come back to the freeze protocol.
My freeze is working out really good. I've only replaced stuff that I don't have.
That's not a freeze.
Excuse me. Okay. Let me
That you went
rephrase.
through?
Let me
that
rephrase.
you're replenishing.
That I smoked
You
through.
need to replenish.
Yeah. So I bought a box of, as an example, I bought a box of Punch because I finished a box of those.
Did you?
I bought another box of H. Upman number 2s because I finished a box of those. So I'm only replacing stuff that.
So
I
your
purchased.
idea of a freeze.
and
is replenishment.
for the
Yeah.
podcast, I'll buy stuff for the pod, but that's it.
So it's like I don't have Punch 2017, so I'm gonna get
You're
that.
just-
I don't
you're
have
just-
Punch-
I gotta get the
I don't have
age.
2016, 2015,
You're
2014.
maintaining safety stock.
Exactly.
You're not. That's not a freeze.
That's not a freeze, Giz.
It's a freeze, then I thaw for a minute, and then I freeze again.
We're going to need an intervention.
Yeah, it might come.
I think
An hour of atonement.
Accountability hour.
Oh,
Again.
please. Can we schedule that next week?
Pam's all in.
And then we'll
I'm
roll
all
right
in.
into the next accountability hour about the other freeze. So
What's
tell me
the-
about
what's
that.
this
Oh,
other
the freeze protocol. So we'll talk about it in an upcoming episode, Cuban episode. But when you come home with cigars from Cuba, everything that Habanos ships out, they freeze at the Habanos distribution facility to try to kill the beetle
The
larva.
bugs? Yeah.
So when you come home with something that hasn't been through that that process, you want to make sure that you freeze everything so you don't potentially introduce
Correct. Yeah.
beetles into your. I mean, imagine beetles going through my tower or any of our
Yeah.
towers. It's a nightmare. Like
would
it's
be-
nightmare fuel. So you do a freeze protocol.
Did you guys freeze?
I
Yeah.
froze all their stuff. I double vacuum seal both sides of a bag, vacuum seal it. You put it in the fridge for 24 hours, deep freeze for 72,
Mm.
back into the fridge for 24 to prevent condensation issues,
Yep.
room temperature for 24,
Nice.
and then you're good to go.
I'm sorry if we're rehatching stuff we already talked about. enough.
No,
we
we
have
actually, we have the Cuban episodes are coming up, but
This is a new topic.
yeah, we
For us.
didn't.
So I
we
put
didn't
it in the
spoil
freezer first, and then put it in the fridge.
Yeah, I did the fridge just to try to step it up because I have so many of them. I didn't want to have condensation issues.
So all the food that was in the freezer thawed out. just because-
It's well worth it.
You had to pull it all out.
Priorities.
Yeah, Lori went down in the freezer downstairs. She's like, "What the hell?
Where are my steaks?
Why are there 200 cigars in the freezer right now?" I said, "Oh, they're all the lizards. None of them are mine."
Yeah, they're all in concussion protocol.
It's for the tasting panel.
No.
So I'm surprised. I've only had the ash is not holding on mine.
It's a Lancero.
But I've had
It's not
It's
great.
okay. It's not bad.
it's
Yeah,
fallen
it's-
off twice with
that's-
really no little
That's
effort.
about
I'm
the
not even-
limit, about half an inch to an inch. About an inch.
I mean,
Amateur
Gizmo,
hour.
this is
I,
not.
I wouldn't mark that as a demerit.
Thank
No,
you.
it's not
See,
a
that's my
demerit.
attorney.
I agree. Yeah, he was
No,
my attorney.
I wouldn't mark a demerit on the cigar.
He's defending the cigar, not you.
Oh,
User error.
The
As
bastard
you are
user
so
error.
fond of saying, Gizmo, user error.
Oh, I like that. I got to use that more often.
You're such a technologist.
I am. Yeah, this cigar is really, really nice, guys. I'm getting wonderful chocolate, little fruit, little leather, even on the just the normal draw, not just through the retrohale. A little bit of what I like is it's not very spicy.
It's true.
I like that the spice is toned down in this, which for a Nicaraguan is surprising me
yeah.
pleasantly.
But also on the retrohale, it's surprising on a Nicaraguan that I get a lot of sweetness on that retro.
Yeah.
Usually it's peppery, but it's not.
I agree with that. And the thing I love about it is it just makes this cigar very versatile.
Mm-hmm.
Like a cigar that's really spicy, for me, I'm only going to have that in the evening.
After dinner.
I'm not going to have
Yeah.
that in the morning or even early
true.
afternoon. But when a cigar's like this, I could wake up and
Yeah.
have this.
This
in
would
the
be great with a
afternoon,
cup of
This you
coffee.
can, right in
Oh,
the
yeah.
morning.
Great
Yeah.
with a cup of coffee.
First cigar of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, it makes sense to have several boxes of these in your collection, I think.
Because they're so cheap, and
Oh,
with
dude.
time, I can't imagine they're not going to get better, right?
Awesome.
I mean,
awesome.
you
I
know,
mean,
this is excellent.
It's at any time of the day cigar.
Yeah.
To Senator's point,
Yeah.
so versatile.
Yeah.
And there's something that is happening on the front of my tongue
It's a
that
little tingly.
it's really I'm really enjoying. It's very pleasant.
You may have to go to the doctor for that.
Dr. Bam.
Yeah. Step into my office. Enter at your own risk.
Like,
Do you
what
take
else-
insurance?
I do not.
Like, what else is tingling today?
Yeah. Well, let me see.
I have some experience with that.
Oh, Jesus. Bam always takes the hits, man.
Oh God.
So, the World Baseball Classic just finished, which was a really awesome event.
Extremely entertaining.
Extremely entertaining. The U.S. seemed like they were going to take it, and
Yep.
then Japan, Shohei struck out Mike Trout. How
Dude.
apropos was that? I saw a meme like, can you imagine if these guys were on the same team, how good they'd be?
Bro, honestly, that was the most dramatic baseball right there
Yeah.
that I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just those two guys
I mean,
facing off.
I wanted to see that matchup
Oh,
for
dude.
the longest time.
So cool.
That,
So
that-
cool.
That happened, and that was great. The way
Yeah.
it ended.
Oh yeah.
I feel like Opinion on the World Baseball Classic did like a complete 180 by the end.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
'Cause
yeah.
I feel like early on when Diaz went
Well,
down,
Edwin
the
Diaz
Mets
getting
closer,
hurt.
Oh,
everyone was like, this is why they shouldn't play this. This is going to fuck up teams and their ability to win a World Series. And everyone was so upset about it. And
And
then
of
all of a sudden, it's getting really competitive.
yeah.
And that matchup at the end, everyone's like, wow, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it only happens once every 4 years. It's not like this is happening all
And
the
of
time.
course,
Yeah,
the
I
Mets
mean-
get the shaft. Of course.
So I've kind of always had an issue with this. Like, why do they call it the World Series when the world doesn't participate?
It's true.
Because it was an American marketing scheme back in the day to get more attention to it.
Yeah, I
And it was
guess,
all-
but-
It was also coincidental with World's Fair.
Mm.
So they were-
Ah.
okay.
And there's
But-
baseball players from around the world. The best players in the world are playing in the MLB.
I didn't know that was the history of the name of the World Series.
We
Cool.
also use this as Americans in like every sport.
Mhm.
It's like the Eagles win a Super Bowl. They are world champions.
World
Like,
champions.
It's like we say it for everything.
That's
Like
true.
it doesn't matter what sport.
my British friends always give me a hard time about that, the World Series, and like just busting my chops about the World Series. Like who's watching the
Right?
fucking World Series aside from you guys?
See, they're not wrong.
And then, so the Cuban team was doing very, very well.
Mm.
Obviously, what did we beat them? 14 to
crushed them.
4.
Crushed them.
And then the big story out of it, which is obviously interesting to us, is guys who love going to Cuba and love
Sure.
the Cuban product, is the defector who decided not to get on the plane.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing story. So the World Baseball Classic's only been around, I guess, since 2006, but I mean that was a pretty wild story. Ivan Prieto Gonzalez, he was the Team Cuba's bullpen catcher, and decided to not show up for the return flight,
Hmm.
and I guess declare asylum status, try to get asylum status to stay
Wow.
here.
I wish he would have thought this through a little bit more, because any one of us would have happily boarded the plane and put on his uniform, but he could have stayed here.
I'm surprised the whole team didn't do it.
Yeah,
Probably would have paid him handsomely as well.
yeah. But that's a pretty big move to use that world stage to avoid getting back on the plane.
Dude, there's a mass exodus out of Cuba.
I know, but that's a pretty ballsy pretty ballsy way.
It
to do
takes
it.
a-
It's
it
a
takes a
super
lot of-
public way to do it.
Yeah. It takes a lot of balls to even, leave if you have family back at home or.
Does he have money? Where will he stay? Is he going to eat?
And Gizmo and I were talking about it before, just considering the state of, Russian-Cuban relations, and therefore, some contention between the United States allowing this defector potentially insulting Russia or whatever. I don't know. It might be a stretch, but nonetheless, there could be a lot of politics going on too.
I have to assume he has family here.
I would assume so too,
would
or
hope
has
so.
some sort of setup ready to go.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not like he was a starter. It's not like he made some sort of splash. He's the bullpen catcher. He catches the pitches
Yeah.
as they're warming up. So it's not like he has some sort of guaranteed spot.
Yeah, but he can make more money working at McDonald's.
Sure.
Probably,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, the game. Where was the game?
Japan.
No, it was in Miami.
That game was in Miami,
yeah.
which is a Cuban stronghold. So
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a big community there that'll help him.
Yeah.
Smart move.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's a massive Cuban,
Yeah.
a great, thriving,
Yes.
yes, an awesome community there.
Sure.
That hates Cuba.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
I just
do.
hope he doesn't have family left in Cuba, because
I know that's going to be
I mean,
tough.
let's be real, that's not going to go well.
I was going
That's
to
a
ask
good
that
point.
question, but yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So I mean, wish him all the best, but
Wish
yeah,
his
definitely
family the best.
Yeah, that's a risky move, man. That's a risky move. And it just says a lot about, what's going on in Cuba, man. I mean, we'll talk about that when we recap our trip in the coming weeks, but it's just a tough situation. Even the people at the highest levels of power are having problems getting food. I mean, outside of the government, I mean, it's a really big problem. Where you wake up every day wondering if you're going to be able to feed your kids.
Yeah.
And even a guy who plays baseball for the national team competing on the world stage
Means nothing.
means nothing. It's terrible.
Except, who was the guy, the pitcher who struck out the side and then got signed by a MLB team?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Signed
Yeah.
a deal.
What?
Yeah. I forget what his
Who
name
was
was.
it?
Wait a minute. On the spot, he got signed?
Yeah, the next day.
You're joking.
I swear to God.
So does he get to stay?
I assume so. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. I'm not sure what team he played for, but he basically struck out the side. I think it was 3 Americans he struck out. And some scout from MLB team was like, wow, this guy's dynamite. And the next day they gave him a contract.
That is awesome.
So a Nicaraguan pitcher struck
Wow.
out 3 MLB players.
And he's Nicaraguan.
His name is Duque Hebert.
Cool.
El
5'10",
Duque.
El
5'10",
El Duque
170
Jr.
pounds.
Jr.
5'10",
El
170
Duque was
pounds.
Cuban.
But it's stories
yeah.
like that, honestly, the World Baseball Classic for us, it's entertainment and all of that. But that guy's life is going to change just by striking out 3 MLB
He
players.
struck out Juan
It's
Soto,
crazy.
Julio
What?
Rodriguez, and then Manny Machado.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's how you do it, boys.
shit.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. Is right. That's insane talent.
You know what's cool too is the guy's 5'10", 170.
Yeah, little guy.
Little guy.
Crazy.
Wow.
That's pretty
I mean,
amazing.
Love it.
the body can do amazing things, man.
Yeah, man.
Especially when you're determined.
Yeah.
And trained.
I saw a video of
Muggsy Bogues.
no, it was a guy in Venezuela, and he was pitching pennies to his son, and he was just tossing pennies to the kid, and he's pinging him out and he's taking these full swings against pennies, and he's throwing the pennies pretty hard, and in the middle of a dirt field, this kid his hand-eye coordination is fantastic, and he's clearly training him to be a great ball player. And it's just, I was thinking damn, some people are so motivated,
Yeah.
to make a dream and to make it happen. And, those are the people that excel because they're so motivated. They don't have anything, but they have the intention and the fortitude to do it. It's amazing.
You guys are gonna make me cry.
Sorry.
Let it go, Bam.
I will. Later today.
Oh. So, boys, we're coming, I guess, up on the halfway point. I'm smoking this very slowly. I'm really enjoying it. of the Don Pepin Garcia.
Trying to pace myself.
Yeah, Blue Label Lancero. It's continuing to
It's delicious.
it's change and
still delicious. yeah.
evolve for
Has
me.
it changed?
It has
not
for
for me.
sure.
Not for
it
me.
hasn't changed much for me.
No.
It's getting about the same notes that I was getting in the
Yeah.
beginning.
I'm in Rooster's camp.
Maybe
It's getting better for me for sure.
It could
as
be a
goes.
bit more pronounced, but that's not natural for most cigars.
It's amazing that, again, that this is Nicaraguan. I can't
Right.
believe that. Can't believe that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's just nice to see that there's clearly more versatility than we would expect in Nicaraguan tobacco. Because
Yeah.
I feel like whenever we review a stick, if we don't even announce where it's from, we instantly peg a Nicaraguan for like a bold, really full smoke. This completely defies that. So I'd
Yeah.
love to try, other Nicaraguans that are blended in a way like this that are totally different.
In a Lancero Vitola, of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
any
No, it
just
doesn't
I
have
love
to be.
that
Yeah.
not all Nicaraguan tobacco has to like really punch you
Well,
when you
this
smoke.
I
is
think
true.
we often, prior, I would say almost to this block of Lanceros and Lonsdales, when we'd bring up a Nicaraguan cigar that we were unfamiliar with, we'd read about it, we'd learn about it, and everything was the Padron killer, the Padron killer, the Padron killer. And it's like, I'd love to see more of this, which is the Cuban,
Yeah.
going after the Cuban
Yeah.
market,
A
the
Cuban
overpriced.
A parallel to Cuba.
Yes.
Yeah.
But do you think that was the intent?
If they're calling it the Fundadores, I would think
Fundadores.
so.
Yeah.
I mean, if the Fundadores is in the name of the marketing, I would think that they're absolutely
the
targeting.
pigtail also. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a
That's
lot
it.
of similarities.
Have you
Yeah.
guys had any of the other Vitolas by Don Pepin?
I've not,
You
other
mean
than my
off-
father's.
off,
Oh, yeah.
off the out of the blue line,
The blue line,
blue
yeah.
label.
Yeah.
No,
I had
no.
one at our previous lounge. It was a Toro, powerful cigar, really powerful.
I've had Don Pepin before, but I never had the blue label.
Okay,
And they're
strong.
They
they are really, really strong.
So I wanted to mention, because I saw this box sitting over that Rooster had. So the cigars come in a really nice cedar box of 24 cigars. And what's cool about it is that there's a box date on the bottom,
Oh, cool.
which is very unique for New World cigars to have a stamped box date. Also with a very similar to Cuban factory code.
Aren't they trying to be Cuban?
Yeah. And then, even better, it says in the same way that it would on a Cuban box, Hecho en Cuba.
Hecho en mano.
Yeah,
What
Hecho en mano.
what's the date on the box?
November 22.
So
Okay.
let me ask you
This is a duplicate of Cuban cigar
do you-
boxes.
That's
you-
pretty cool.
Do you
Yeah.
think they intended to create the Fundadores, or they found gold and said let's market it like that?
That's a really good question. Maybe they tasted it and said, "Wow, this is really close to."
Did you notice anything else on the box?
Well, I noticed the signature.
No, the front. There's no clasp. There's no lock.
Yeah, just
There's
opens.
Gorilla Tape on it.
Well, that's your Gorilla Tape. That's not his.
The box doesn't stay shut.
Yeah, that is the
okay.
one problem.
Mm.
Right?
But that's pretty cool that there's a box code, a box date, and the same font. Hecho in Miami.
Well, look, if we want the box to close with a clasp, we can spend $1,600 on a box of fundies.
More than that.
I think more.
Yeah, that's very cool. So I certainly think that this cigar is absolutely aiming for Cuban tobacco.
Well, God bless them. I mean, we need more of them, as you said.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I just
Absolutely.
truly think it's one of the closest. Like, I really stand by this. To me, of all New World cigars that we've probably reviewed on this podcast, this has the most Cuban-esque flavors to it than any,
Sure.
in my opinion.
Sure. Same.
So we're coming into spring, boys. Coming out of the winter, which is nice. Thank God. We had a pretty mild winter, I would say.
Yeah, kind of.
But it's starting to warm up a little bit. And what I find is, and we've talked about this on the pod before, but I find as the seasons change, my preferences and what I reach for and what I'm looking to smoke change as well. And I've had some like cigars that I've re-fallen in love with recently. And I'm curious if you guys have had that experience too. Namely for me, number one was the late hour. I haven't touched that cigar in a long time.
But you didn't hate it.
No, I just didn't reach for it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
I,
and-
I still don't reach for that often.
Neither do I.
As much as the other Davidoff, like the Dominicanas or the Millenniums.
Yeah, it's
Late-
true.
I've
you
been
know.
I've been reaching a lot for instead of the late hour for the other Churchill.
oh, the
Dude.
white label Churchill.
Yeah,
I love that cigar.
it's so good.
I love that. I've only had 3 of those. I'm a big fan. Big fan.
So what Vitola do you guys choose in that?
I have a bunch of
It's a Toro.
yeah, but I have a bunch of Robustos.
Mm.
Robustos.
They also make it at Churchill. That's the one I tried for the first
Yeah,
time.
delicious.
good?
It's delicious.
So what's the flavor profile on that compared to the Millennium versus even the late hour?
I think it's a milder version of any of those.
Mhm.
Heavy cedar,
I get graham cracker.
a little graham cracker.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Citrus.
I gotta try.
You got to turn his mic off.
I don't get it. I don't get any citrus, but I get I do heavy graham cracker. I
Yeah.
would say I wouldn't. I would also get a little slight leather,
And some coffee.
definitely coffee, and there's that slight Davidoff twang
Mm.
because it's got a Davidoff flavor, but it's very subtle. It's muted. It's not as prominent, and I love that the prominent Davidoff flavor. But with this balance, it was kind of nice.
It's so good. I think it could be pod worthy.
I think it definitely is. You
Might
know,
have to
it's
do
No,
it.
we should do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, the other one that I kind of, Exclusivo, Padron Exclusivo, we smoke a ton of those. I also smoke a ton of the Churchill, the Diplomatico in
Yeah.
the 1964 line. But I've really been reaching almost more than any of the others in that line for some reason, as maybe it's a little sweeter, the Torpedo in Maduro.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
another
yeah.
good one.
Yeah. It's just a
Very
cigar
good.
I hadn't been reaching for, and I'm kind of pulling again.
Okay.
And then my last one on the list that as far as New World goes, I have a couple Cubans we can talk about too, but I reach for, the first cigar I smoked outside this year, actually, as it was like 60 degrees the other day. I did the Tatuaje Petit Cazadores,
Oh, dude.
which I haven't had in
Love
a
those.
year and a half.
Love those.
That is a little home run hitter. That's
Oh,
no doubt.
That's
I
so
wish
good.
they made that blend in a Churchill.
With a cup of coffee, late afternoon, it's really fantastic.
Yeah.
Man.
I was just talking to somebody about how great that cigar is.
It's awesome.
And
It's
I-
so
you know,
good.
it's just an awesome anytime cigar.
And I just think it's cool. It only comes in a 50 cab.
It's affordable. Yeah, when you
affordable.
lift it out of the box, it's like that little football.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
So Padron also it's been out for a little bit now. In the family reserve line, they have I think it's a 60 ring gauge. It's the 95.
Number
I think.
95,
Number
yeah.
95.
Yeah.
So once we get into like a bigger ring gauge, maybe we might want to.
That's a new one, yeah.
That
That's a
cigar
new
scored,
one.
I think that was the number one of Cigar Journal 2022 was the number 95.
Has anyone had it?
I have not.
I've had it. Yeah.
Do you
I had
like it?
one.
You like it?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was good.
Really? Mm.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the size, it's a 60.
Yeah, it's
but,
big, but short.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't love that. I do not love that. I'm so resistant as we're going into like
It's a jawbreaker.
thinking about like 54 ring gauge cigars.
Well,
and
we just
stuff,
have to try
We
one.
have to do
Yeah,
it. We have to do it.
I mean, 54 is manageable.
I'll just bitch
but
and moan my
60
way through it. Listeners always
Yeah.
emailing,
It gets unpleasant,
But I think it's got a little box press. It's not, it's not round, so it's
Okay.
Feels a little better in the
Little
hand.
better.
box press 60. So it's a brick.
It's a slight-
It's a brick.
It's a shipping box. So have you guys had any other cigars that you've kind of been reaching back for that you haven't gone for in a while?
Yeah, for me it's been the BBF. I mean, I
The Bellicosos Finos
I
from
used to
Cuba.
love the Bolivar
Mm.
Bellicoso Finos a while back, and then I kind of, didn't really enjoy them,
I have
especially the fresh ones. But then somebody sent me, and then I got some like 20. I think they're 2011s or 2014s.
there are
But
cig-
they are, oh my, it's like
So
honey.
good, yeah.
the
They're
one
so
tough
good.
thing about a tower is if it's fully stocked, you're not always digging. So there's stuff in the back that you're not smoking. I get lazy. And if I'm in a rush, I'm grabbing what
We
I
know.
see and leave.
I was waiting for it.
I know. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So there's stuff back there that you probably
Sometimes
haven't had.
I think we've talked about this in my
It happens.
in my vault. I keep stuff in the back that I don't want to reach for.
Okay.
So if I don't see it, I don't think about it when
Right,
I'm
me
moving
too.
fast.
Mhm.
So I'm not emptying out boxes that I can't replace.
Sure.
Yeah,
You know,
if I could redesign BAM's tower, I would have doors on front and the back, and it should
Perfect.
be on wheels. So you just flip it
I
around.
would love
like a
that.
good route.
Like a sunglass case that rotates. I would love that.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
For-
Doors
I've-
on all
picture that.
sides.
Doors on all
I've
sides.
actually been reaching to the late hour a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
nice.
like
It's that cigar.
The Robusto,
I
which
got
was
a-
a surprise for me. I've been really enjoying.
I got a box recently, and I've just been, I hadn't had it for a long time. I think the last time I had it was maybe Pagoda gave me one in December or so.
Hmm.
And it was it was great then, and I got the box and just been digging into it.
I feel like it's a winter cigar for some reason. It's
Kinda.
Yeah.
It's
I didn't really
fuller,
reach
like-
for it too much this winter.
A holiday cigar kind of a thing. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean, it's a winter cigar because that stick, as much as I love it, it's got some strength to it.
Oh
Sure.
yeah.
And especially when you get a fresh box of them, you got to either have that around a meal or in the winter with like a really solid spirit that
Yep.
can hold up against it. But what I found, I think I mentioned this to Giz, is if you let them sit, kind of like we're talking about, stuff just gets tucked away in the back of the tower, you forget about it for a while, it smooths out some of those rough edges over time. Like
He's
I
right.
lit one up after not having one for, I don't know, maybe 8-9 months. And I was like, wow, this is way smoother than I
Yeah.
remember that cigar. So
Yeah. The Shark. That's another one.
I haven't been reaching for that. I did that. I like that in the summer.
Yeah.
I take that to Florida when I go. I'll take that cigar a lot because it smokes so great.
It does.
Indoor, outdoor, whatever. So if I'm outdoors, I'm smoking a lot
Bunch
of
of
New Worlds.
boxes. Haven't reached for that.
Yeah.
I used to smoke Avo Domains a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I bought a bunch when I heard that market.
Oh, that's right. They were discontinuing that, right?
discontinuing it. So I've been pulling them a lot recently, getting back into those, which has been great.
The other thing I think that kind of prompted this in my brain was talking to Senator. I think we were here. Is the Partagas Series P number 2.
Mm.
I really love that cigar. I hadn't been reaching for it, and kind of like Rooster said, I kind of fell out of love with it a little bit, like I have with the BBF, but that hasn't recovered yet. I just don't reach for that much. I'll go for the Royal Corona way more from Bolivar.
Oh yeah.
But the Partagas P2, I had some stuff that was sitting around in my tower. I pulled one. Man,
That's good.
it's
so
it
good.
had a sweetness to it that
Mhm.
was that the young ones don't have. That with a little bit of age, I think it had 3 or 4 years on it.
Yeah.
I mean, I totally fell in love with that cigar, and I can't stop reaching for them now.
Sure.
They change, man. Cuban
Yeah.
cigars, you let them sit for a while, even if it's like about 6 months, a year.
Yeah,
It's a different cigar.
yeah.
Mm.
It's not the same.
And I'm hoping for that with my BBFs because Senator gives me
That
the
might
eye
take a
every
little
time I say
longer.
it. He's giving me the eye during the pod here for the listener. I just fell out of love with the BBF. I just don't reach for it,
Yeah.
man.
One thing we haven't talked a lot about is the Padron 50th, the
Mhm.
hammer. We haven't really.
Love that cigar.
And it's an incredible cigar, and we haven't given it
Well,
enough attention. Really.
I think when episode 100 comes, I think that's what we need to do.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
The
because we're
last
coming
time-
up on it, man. I mean, we're
We
not that far away.
No.
the last time we all lit that cigar up was Puba's birthday.
Yep.
Yeah.
His 50th.
Yep.
Yeah,
We lit up the 50 year
Great
at our
cigar.
clubhouse.
Yeah.
I think it's on our Instagram.
Yeah.
that's right.
That's
There's
right.
a
We put a-
there's
we
a
put a
photo
picture
of
on
all of
Instagram.
us with the cigar.
Yeah.
That is an excellent cigar.
I think that's up there. To me, it's very different than the 80 year that
Oh,
we
yeah.
love so
Oh,
much that we did on our 1-year anniversary.
It's
But
got
those
more-
two cigars are just parallel for me as
Yeah.
the best of the best of the best.
Sure.
But yeah, I find it odd how my palate changes. Like even in the winter, I don't reach for Schwa Supreme. I don't reach for Coronas Claro. But in the summer, I'm going to be hitting those boxes very hard.
Yeah, the Schwa's excellent. I brought one tonight to have after our recording.
Yeah,
Missed that cigar.
For me, the thing with Cuban cigars is that you can smoke multiple Cuban cigars
Yeah.
that are not heavy
Yeah.
and
And have a unique
have
experience
a
with
unique-
each cigar.
one. Yeah.
And that's the beauty of a session. If you can sit down and do 3 or 4.
Yeah, I mean, it would be hard to smoke like a Nicaraguan full-bodied smoke.
Back to
I mean,
back.
I'm sure we have done it, but
Senator's done it.
We sure have.
what hasn't he done? He smoked 3/8. What'd you say?
Four
480s.
480s.
in a row. That's psycho.
There's an issue over here.
Yeah.
That's
We should
a
call-
legendary cigar.
It gets wasteful.
After I get off the phone with Habanos
Please.
tomorrow, I'm calling the FBI.
Call Connecticut.
you gotta.
Each one was better than the last.
I don't
That was a
believe that.
great night. I'm serious. You have to understand, this was early on when I had just started getting into the 80s. So you have that cigar for the first time. Your mind is completely blown.
Yep.
You sit there and say, this is one of the greatest cigars I've ever had. So when it's that early on, you're just you're chasing that experience again. And I got a little gluttonous one night and just chased it a little quickly.
Wow. Chasing a dragon.
That's right. But to Rooster's point about, it'd be hard to smoke certain Nicaraguans just back to back in a night. That's what excites me about this cigar. Like, if we could find more Nicaraguans like this, like you could smoke, 3, 4 of these in a night. You'd want the flavor profile to differ, but they don't all have to be so strong and full like most Nicaraguans are. So I would love to just try to find some others that are
Yeah.
more medium that kind of fit this in terms of like body or strength.
Sure.
I mean, just coming back to your comment of back-to-back cigars, during the pandemic, I was chain smoking cigars, and they were all Nicaraguan. And they were like, yeah, you just kind of get used to it.
Well, you kind of get high.
And
after
his
the-
beard just kept growing, growing. It must have been a direct correlation to the
Yeah.
amount of Nicaraguan tobacco.
Yeah.
By the way, Grinder looks like a different person today.
Yeah, so Grinder came in, by the way, fully, the beard is gone.
Beard was gone last time too. I remember.
Slim and
He
trim.
was
Slim and trim.
He slimmed down.
Be careful tonight.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Look great.
Yeah.
Thanks. Appreciate it, guys.
So we got an email that I wanted to share with you guys from Tony, aka Lizard Bone. By the way, I
Ooh.
love when lizard listeners email us because
That's my high school nickname, by the way.
Bone.
Bone.
I knew Bam was going to say that.
It is.
As soon as you said that name, I'm like, Bam is sitting here saying, why didn't I get that name?
No, I played. So let me just go into this.
Yeah,
for
tell
2
the
seconds.
story.
I played football in high school, and I played multiple positions. So the coach, he couldn't pronounce my given name.
Yeah.
So it was Tambone. That was like the name that I was given, but then everyone truncated it to Bone.
Ah,
So that kind of stuck, and it was it's endearing. And to this day, I'm still called Bone.
Really?
Love it.
So we got an email from Lizard Bone, and I wanted to share it with you guys. He said, hello, Gizmo and fellow lizards. Just a quick note to say hello and that I thoroughly enjoy your POD, which is, he's making fun of what I say at the beginning of the episode, giving out our email. He said, I just started listening in early December after learning about you from Rob on FOH, our friend Rob Isla, when he posted about being your guest. It's been fun listening to all your shows since episode 1, and today I'm finally caught up. I love what you guys do, and when I'm not a member at my local lounge, I feel like I've joined the Lizard Lounge remotely.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
And that, let me tell you something, that is absolutely like the quintessential reason why we do this.
That's what it's all about.
Is giving, like we always say, there's a lizard sitting next to us in the empty chair
Sure.
here. It's awesome receiving these emails. We
Yeah.
love hearing from listeners, and he continued on with some recommendations and whatnot, but
Which is important.
we've
Very
gotten
important.
a lot of great recommendations from listeners,
Need as many Rex as
and a
we
lot
can
of
get.
a lot coming up because we've done a lot of cigars. I mean, this is what, episode 73, so we've probably put together now 75, 76 episodes. So we definitely need
Yeah.
listener recommendations for spirits, for cigars. Do not hesitate to email us. We love hearing from you. I try to reply as quickly as I can, but that is what it's all about, guys.
Oh yeah.
We have the best listeners in the world. And the fact that I just can't wrap my head around, it's just so amazing to me that Lizard Bone went and found our pod in December. Just like Lizard Sean, who picked up my
Yeah.
Remington Tower.
Yep.
Found it, and within 2 or 3 months, listened to every single episode.
Dude.
I mean, we have the best group of human beings listening to this podcast in the world, no doubt.
It's awesome.
I mean, it's amazing.
It's awesome.
Going back and doing the deep dive like that.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to share our and my appreciation for listeners who share that with us, because we love hearing from them.
Oh yeah.
So listeners out there, please email us. Please share what you're thinking about the pod and what you're smoking.
Giz, why don't you give him the email again? P-O-D.
Hello at
POD.
loungelizardspod.com. So this cigar is, for the combustion, for how well it's smoking, it's burning for me very slowly. I mean, we're about an hour in, and I feel like I've got quite a bit of life left on this thing,
Yep, same here.
which is really nice.
Agreed.
Yeah. What are you guys getting on flavor right now? Has it kind of stayed the same for you?
Kind of the same, a bit more amplified.
That's exactly what I would say.
Same,
Yeah.
same thing.
The last third starts to pick up in strength in a very nice way.
Yeah.
It's to the fuller, like medium full now.
Sure.
Yeah.
If it
Sure.
started off as a medium,
Still
it's
very
like a
smooth.
medium full.
Yeah.
Delivery smooth.
And I could see if you smoked through this portion of the cigar quickly, it could back up on you.
Yeah,
very
I think it would
quickly.
heat up real
Yeah,
fast.
and you
Maybe
get
a
a lot
tar
of ammonia.
blast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going back to his email, we've talked about this before, but the communities that the podcast has created, I firsthand have experienced that in town where I live.
Yeah.
They listen to the podcast. We get together, we talk. They have questions. They're listening to the pod. It's just a very cool thing that I think we created.
Yeah, and we constantly getting messages on Instagram from great people asking questions. I had a guy,
Yeah.
I had a listener email us the other day, having trouble setting up his tower, having humidity problems. So I kind of walked him through that. He bought a Cigar Oasis. He bought the auxiliary fan kit, which I think we talked about. But I'm in love with the Cigar Oasis product, by the way.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's like, it's not a, this is not a plug. We're not being paid to say this, but the Cigar Oasis in Cuba, I was able to watch my tower and control my Cigar Oasis from Cuba. It's pretty incredible. Senator, go ahead.
Giz?
Senator, take your...
Giz?
Did I miss something while we were there?
Giz? Have I not been saying this?
You have, man. It's amazing.
What? Did you not have an Oasis before?
No, I was singing the praises of the Oasis when he had the Remington, which obviously is
right.
a different setup. And he's like,
Right.
Sure. My setup's great. I'm happy as I have it. And now look at him. He's like a brand ambassador.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
He was
I love
pretty
it.
dialed in back then. He's
Yeah.
dialed in now.
Always dialed in.
Not like he's dialed in now, though.
Mhm.
Well, the
He'll
fact
tell
that
you.
I can control
See?
the Cigar Oasis from anywhere in the world.
To within a degree of temperature
No,
and a
within-
percentage of humidity.
Within a
There's no-
tenth of a degree
See?
You're out of your mind.
and a
See?
tenth of a
Giz,
percentage.
Giz,
There's no
you're
temperature
You're
control.
so
Oh,
down.
is that right?
So
Yeah.
dialed in, baby. Yeah, I mean, the other thing too, and
Can you
this is-
imagine life without it?
right now, no.
Thank you.
But that's almost everything I come across. Everything changes my life. So that's kind of a habit of mine. I fall in love with
You're a
something. I'm
passionate man.
very passionate.
Oh, yeah.
But the one thing I will say, and I'm curious if you guys have done this, but I have found that just creating air movement in my tower, regulating the humidity, from let's say the middle section to the top where I keep my Cubans, on the bottom is a little higher where I keep my New Worlds. I keep my New Worlds around 65, keep my Cubans like 61.5 to 62. Creating that air movement.
I'm sorry, 61 and a half.
Yeah.
You just got to love Gizmo. He's probably the only person that uses a decimal to describe what he keeps his cigars at.
Is he sure it's 61 and a half and not 61.44?
Sometimes it's 61.4, sometimes it's 61.5. But
So I have learned one thing. I haven't had my tower stocked full like you guys have as long as you have. But
It's
we have
it's pretty
debunked that
stocked.
theory. We've
Wow,
debunked
wow.
this.
meaning,
right
no,
away.
meaning I haven't had it up as long as you
Are
have.
we still on this?
No, it's just I want to say something.
He's going there again.
I'm going somewhere.
He's asking for it.
He's asking for another accountability.
No,
hour.
I'm not. No, I'm not. Not at all. Please.
All right. Sorry.
Please.
Sorry.
So I've worried about it being so chock full of boxes, circulation. Even fans wouldn't do it. It was literally wall to wall, glass to back.
Mm.
So I took out a bunch of boxes and kind of put them in the middle,
Mhm.
and the drawers, the shelves have slats to allow the air to move through. So I've tried to bunch a few boxes in the center to allow the air to move, and I had to go back to Tupperware for the boxes that I took out. It's made a world of difference for me.
So you're
personally.
noticing the difference in your cigars.
Oh yeah.
And how long did it take after you pulled them out to realizing like, oh shit, that's actually working?
4 days.
Really?
4 or 5 days. Because I was getting very low humidity readings at the top. I was like 58, 59. I was worried. I didn't want them to get too crispy.
Sure.
So I took that out, and with Senator's advice, I ratcheted up my humidity down below up to 68. And now I'm getting 61, 62 at the top, which is for me perfect. And in the middle, I'm at 64.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's great.
What's your tower at, Senator?
Same.
What do you use?
62 at the top, 65 at the middle,
Mm.
and the Oasis is maybe at 67.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a must to ratchet. It's great advice because I had it down and I was worried. I'm thinking to myself, what do I have to do here?
Because the thing is, like the air, I mean, the auxiliary fans definitely help, but the air is moving in the sense that every time that kicks in, those two fans are just pushing air
Yeah, this is
constantly
true.
up.
But to Bam's
So-
point, if there's not room in the back or
It
front of that
Oh, yeah,
tower,
no,
you're,
I
you're-
agree
you're
there.
screwed.
I
It
agree
won't
there.
move.
Yeah.
I just mean like if you set that at the bottom to 68, you shouldn't fear that, oh my gosh, this whole big section of the tower is going to be at 60. It's really not. It's just pushing that air around, which once it's spread around the tower, it's really at like 65. You know, up
Right.
to
I
62.
was worried about the fact that I may be hovering at 68 at the bottom and high 50s at the top. What a disaster. if I would have kept it that way.
I'm afraid to talk to you about my
Accountability
for
hour.
fear of being ostracized.
I think my attorney needs accountability hour now.
Your counselor.
Yep, my counselor.
I think I already know Rooster is going to be the prosecution here.
Look at him. He's eyeing him up
He's
right now.
I'm mostly. You guys are gonna fucking.
Are
roll
you
your
still
eyes at me.
spritzing your cigars?
I'm not spritzing my cigars. I have basically 67 probably on the top and 65 throughout the rest. And I maintain that with
Your Oasis,
The
is on the top.
no, it's just more humid up there.
Really?
And do you have Boveda up there or something?
I have Boveda up there and I
okay.
seasoned it a long time. I season it, pretty regularly. Like I'll re-season it every season.
Really?
Yeah.
But he may have like an imperfect seal or
Maybe.
it may absorb or change. So
yeah, and
that's pretty common.
I think I might, so I have to attend to it. And but I have these like, I think they're called butlers, these Boveda things. And I have like 8 of them all throughout. I have a big cabinet. I have about 8 of them all throughout my cabinet and on different levels, like multiple on each level, and I can see where everything is. So if one gets out of regulation, I get alerted, and I just circulate it because I have enough space in it that I can do.
Did you calibrate them, or do you calibrate them often?
I calibrate it when I got them, and they get off sometimes, and you can tell because they're not all going off at the same time. So like I'll see like one on the same level is a couple degrees off, and then I'll just recalibrate it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen that often. You'd be surprised.
So most of us have a single wide tower. Gizmo has a double wide, let's call it. Yours is 4 wide, isn't it? It's pretty big. It's a big armoire.
It's 2 doors, right?
It's 2 doors.
Yeah,
Is that right?
But his is just a bit wider than Giz's.
Yeah, I think his doors are definitely bigger than mine.
Yeah.
Like honestly, when
It's
I
a huge unit.
when I got my vault, when I saw it in the shipping crate, I was like, did they send the wrong one? I thought it would have been a little wider.
Sure.
Thankfully, it's not. And the depth in mine and the way that it's oriented, I can fit so much in there in such a tighter space. It just works
I have
great.
a question for Grinder.
Yeah.
Do you have an outlet opening in the back bottom?
Yeah.
Is it sealed?
Yep.
Because that could explain why you've got lower humidity at the bottom. It's got to be escaping because that's unusual to have humidity at the top.
Yeah, he's right.
Yeah. Could be
guess.
something down
Or
there.
he just has more Boveda at the top.
Oh, that's
That
true.
too.
Yeah, that's also true. It's also because where it's positioned in the room, I have a radiator like kind of like
Yeah,
I
the
think-
ambient affects it, man.
You're also by the door, right?
no, I moved it.
Oh, you did move it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I think that has something to do with it. So it's a lot of work right now. But it keeps me occupied.
So here's the other thing that's important to note is that the key part of this that we haven't talked about is simple preference, right? Like, bam, we were in November talking to Juan Moya about humidity in Cuba.
Oh God, yeah.
And he's a Cuban
70.
national. He's been smoking Cubans.
He likes them at 70% humidity.
So many Cubans do.
They do.
So many people do.
Yeah.
They like higher humidity, and I maybe Grinder's one of those folks. But to me, it's not just about choosing an arbitrary number. It's about finding out how you like your cigars to smoke,
Sure.
what number that correlates to, and then making sure that your tower is delivering.
I
that.
absolutely prefer my Cubans to be a bit on the drier side.
Me too.
Yeah, and I think the thing I've encountered when I talk to people about this and they prefer a higher humidity level, it's usually the case that they've actually never tried cigars at a lower humidity level. So they're like, well, this is working. These are great. I like mine at 70. I don't want to go any lower than that. Have you had a cigar at 62? Well, no, but so I think when you try it, I mean, even like to Gizmo's credit, I think my tower was at 65 and Gizmo kept emphasizing 62
For Cubans.
And when I had reduced the humidity and let that process happen over a week's time and lit one up, I was like, wow, these are good.
Yeah.
And even my New Worlds, I mean, those would be at like 67 sometimes. And I brought those down more to 65 and they smoke fantastically.
Wow.
What's funny too? There's a lot of misinformation out there about humidity. And, the folks say you should store boxes at higher humidity, lower temperatures for long-term aging. And I was actually,
I've heard the opposite of that.
and that's where I'm going. I felt very validated the other day in that I was watching a YouTube video with the Sahakians from Davidoff of London.
I saw this video.
and they have one of the.
Can you please send that to us?
I
I'd
will.
love to watch that.
They have one of the greatest collection. I mean, they have cigars that are you could smoke today that are 100 years old.
Oh boy.
I mean, Davidoff of London. They have one of the greatest aged humidors ever.
Oh.
And what they say, not even about their own humidor, what they say about, let's say people pass away and their heirs come in and say, hey, my grandfather, father, uncle had this amazing collection of cigars. I'd like to, transact them to someone, to you, to someone else. What they've said is that those collections that come in that were stored consistently at a lower humidity, closer to 60% RH, at 65 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit temperature, those collections not only perform better, but they've been kept better and they've aged better.
Yeah, they last.
Which is a major misconception in the industry, is that folks think that when you have a cigar at a lower humidity that they're going to age in a more poorer fashion,
or possibly unravel
or be ruined.
Yeah, that's a nightmare.
And, I mean, when I hear the Sahikians talk about their 100-year-old humidor, that's a good validation that I definitely like my stuff a little bit lower.
In the same video, I believe he was like saying a good Habanos needs to have a little crinkle when you compress it a little bit.
Yes,
yeah. And again, it comes down to preference. But if you're looking to store your stuff long term, it's definitely something to think about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that comes down to you don't want to rush the aging process.
Yes.
As nice as that sounds, like, oh, well, the faster it ages, the quicker it'll be ready for me to smoke and enjoy. But the downside of that is like the cigar can peak much earlier.
Yeah.
And so then you're trying to store something long term, and it's like so much of those oils have been released at that point. It's not really retaining that to slowly age over time. It's like wine. Like, why shouldn't you keep wine in a high temperature? Because it's going to age very quickly that way. Right. So you want like a cool wine cellar that like keeps that aging process at like a very regulated rate so that you can hold a bottle of wine for 10 years and it's still going to be fantastic 10 years later. That's in a warm room. That wine is going to age so quickly. After a few years, it's going to taste like shit because it's just aged so fast that's it at that point. It doesn't have the same structure to age at the rate that it really should be.
Yeah. What's the ideal temp? Like 58, 60 or?
There's honestly like a huge debate about that. I don't even know that there's like a perfectly accepted thing, but you definitely don't want to go. It's got to be 60s or lower for sure.
Right.
For wine, yeah.
Yeah.
And the other side of the coin that I've seen a lot of folks doing, especially in the FOH forum, is when they find a box of cigars. Let's say they buy an aged box of cigars, and they're very happy with how they're smoking today. Like we've talked about that. Let's put aside cigars that are previewing well young, cigars that are at their perfect moment. I've seen guys that are vacuum sealing those boxes to prevent further aging, like to lock in
Interesting.
the situation. Now, I haven't done that. I don't know what the results of that are, but I'm not a scientist, but it makes sense to me logically, like trapping the cigars so there's no other air transfer or movement.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, I want to reach into that box and have a cigar once in a while. So I'm going to have to vacuum seal every time.
Yeah.
So if you have like multiple boxes of the same year, maybe I can understand them doing that.
And if you make a separate effort to age cigars and never touch them, you'll need a separate vessel to keep them in and never go near them.
But the thing that rings my bell with that is, we had those Partagas Lusitanias that were from 1991.
Yeah.
And they were dead.
I didn't have mine yet.
They were dead.
Dude, that's
Dead.
disappointing.
I mean, so dead. I feel so bad. Obviously, Gizmo put his down after what, like a quarter of
Are you
it?
serious?
Yeah, I put it down.
Didn't even smoke it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. I'm so glad we talked about doing that on the pod, and I'm glad we didn't because it was an absolute dud. I mean, maybe they weren't kept well or whatever, but it was terribly unfortunate.
That's odd because we know the source that it came from.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. So, boys, we're coming to the last third here of the Don Pepin Garcia Blue Label in Lancero, and I have really enjoyed this cigar so far.
Very good.
It's even in the last third here, which we talk about a lot of New Worlds. They do not deliver in that second third, especially in the last third. This is really, it's improved.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I'm very, very happy with this for a $9 cigar.
Oh, yeah.
And how's the Basil Hayden's working for you guys?
That's getting better.
It hasn't gotten better for me.
I guess.
I mean, I taste the flavor of the ice more than I do the bourbon. and
Yeah.
It's
Flavor of the ice.
it doesn't
Honestly, for
doesn't
me,
hold up. I mean, I say
Is that a good flavor note?
no. I mean, I say that because this cigar picks up in strength in the last third.
Yeah.
So that's where you actually want the spirit to have the body to hold up. And at this point, it's like so imbalanced. It's
Yeah.
like the cigar feels like it's up here, and the bourbon is just like
yeah.
fighting for dear life to stay with
For
us.
me, early on, it was a potpourri punch, and I don't want any spirit that has that flavor profile. It makes my stomach turn.
Mm.
It's like cough syrup for me. But the ice, and it's kind of dissipated. It's been breathing. It's okay.
It's like the hoppy, non-alcoholic beer is actually pairing very nicely.
I
with
bet it
this.
is.
Yeah,
Pass
I'm
it-
enjoying mine too.
Can you pass it down, please?
Grinder, what do you think about the cigar and the pairing?
The cigar's great. It's definitely picked up in strength, and I like it. And for the pairing, I agree with Senator. It's the wispiness of it now does not pair well with how it's picking up, and the cigar is picking up in strength. So I'm not drinking it.
Yeah. So going back to the fan thing for a second, the air movement. I'm finding that my tower, the cigars that I'm kind of, let's call it dry boxing or preparing to smoke, that I keep at the top.
Yep. The singles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I have a tray of singles at the top and a couple
Mhm.
boxes. Like I have a Mag 46 box up there that I'm smoking out of. I have a D4 box that, because I
Nice.
smoke out of them a lot.
Ah.
So I want them to be ready to go. And I'm finding that, I have fans, the auxiliary kit from Oasis that ties in. It runs 24/7, 2 little fans affixed to the side of the vault. And I'm finding with that air movement, it really keeps it precisely where I want it,
Yeah.
not just when the unit kicks on to provide more humidity. So I think that the concept of just constant air movement, even if it's very little, is really, really helpful.
You know, the one thing
For storage.
I'm considering doing with the Tower of Power, there's a hole at the top.
I have no idea what the hell that's
Yeah,
for.
I'm going to take a piece of cedar
Seal it.
and just seal that up because I feel like humidity gets up there. I'm just paranoid.
Even if you just
It's
get
hovering
some
up there.
get
I
some
agree.
food grade
It's useless.
get some food grade what's the word I want? Not glue, but
It's gonna be
silicone.
silicone.
Yeah.
Get some food grade silicone
Yeah,
and seal it like that.
No,
that
no,
will
this is the problem. Giz, the hole is
it's
this
huge.
big.
what?
This
Yeah,
big.
it's like
So
6 inches
Senator,
in diameter.
so for the listener, Senator's holding up. Yeah, his
It's like a
hand's 6
personal
or-
pizza. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Seriously.
It's ridiculous.
And that's just the whole unit is just airing at the top.
And I think
Yeah.
a lot of our humidity escapes up into that chamber and just dissipates.
Wow,
I'm guessing. I don't know.
I did not.
The
know
hole
that.
goes all the way through the unit up on the just on the top.
So basically,
It's
like,
open?
here's the top of the unit. And if you were to look inside,
Mhm.
there's like this circular hole.
Yeah.
And then the humidity would rise above that and finally hit the top.
I think
why
that's- so
they
So you think it
have
gets
that-
trapped in there or something?
Yeah, I
Dude.
just don't know why they put it. Like when I saw that, I was looking around like, is there some kind of light fixture that's? But it looks honestly like a circular light is
Yeah.
supposed to go in there. But I looked online. There's no part
Nope.
to buy for it. I have no clue why that's there.
That's
I haven't-
very odd.
I haven't gotten to it, but I'm going to seal that fucker.
And I'm wondering when you do, how that affects.
I bet it'll improve.
Yeah, because the thing is, like at the
And I
top,
could probably, take my humidity down on my
down
Oasis.
100%. Because this
Ah.
is
I
the
bet.
thing. Like the humidity at the top is naturally lower. That happens with just about everything. But because they've created, it's like if that were sealed, the amount of space between your cigars in the top tray and the actual top of it would be so minimal that the humidity would be holding right by
It
the
would sit
cigars.
there.
Now that it gets to go up there, it's reducing the humidity that's actually right by the cigars because it's probably collecting up at the top.
Right.
I don't get it.
Exactly
So
right.
can you stick your hand in that? Like, can
Yeah.
you feel
Yeah.
like it? So it goes like deep.
I could put
The whole
anything I
top?
want up there.
Can I say too? And this is not scientific, but to me, where my brain would go if I'm you guys is like, is there moisture getting trapped up there that's going to prevent, like,
Yeah.
create a potential like mold or some sort of moisture
Well, that's a good
problem?
question.
Not much just because it's so much less up there. Like that's the thing. The humidity reading is lower. It's not like super humid up
Yeah.
there.
And that chamber.
I just want to keep that humidity closer to the actual
So
sticks.
100% agreed.
So let's call it the
It's
chamber. Is it
maybe
2
like
inches?
2 inches. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's shallow.
So there's a 2-inch gap at the top that has a, let's say like a, almost like
6
for a
inch-
light
it's
fixture.
about 6 inches in
That is
diameter.
very odd.
It's just a hollow chamber. Yeah,
there
it's
must be
weird.
a reason why they have that.
Maybe.
Do you think
Why
they
would
repurposed that tower for like wine storage or
So
something? and
I
put a
think
light?
here's what I think. We've got our built-in hygrometer, which is useless.
Yeah.
I think the hygrometer's up in that chamber. So they want that
Oh.
humidity to get access to that. I don't know.
Could be.
Part of
Oh
the
yeah,
design.
Actually,
That's-
that
that
would
would make
explain
sense.
it.
That's
Yeah.
probably what.
explain
But
it.
that hygrometer is absolutely
Yeah,
useless.
it's an analog one. It's
Yeah,
useless.
it looks nice, but
Yeah.
doesn't do anything.
How off is the analog versus reality?
Oh,
It's
gotta be
huge.
way off.
Well, this is the
Bam's
thing.
tower's at 90.
I mean, no. This is the thing. You could calibrate.
I gotta run
it.
home right now.
That's not the first time Bam said it's huge.
Well,
You could calibrate it, and it would work perfectly. I just didn't bother because I'm never going to trust an analog over a digital hydrometer. But the funny thing is, given that I have not calibrated it, it's actually only maybe 4% off. So it's not
Really?
far. Yeah, if I calibrated it, it would be accurate. But
Yeah.
I gotta look.
So it pops out.
yeah,
Yeah. Calibration is very important for your
Sure it is.
hygrometers.
Yeah.
I swear by, people, sometimes folks I see calibrate their hygrometers with either a 68 or a 72 Boveda. And the problem with that is that ambient room humidity in a normal home it's not far enough away to really do a true calibration.
Mm-hmm.
So I swear by that Boveda calibration kit with the 75, just to really push it a little further so that you make the hygrometer work,
Yep.
calibrate to that, and
Get-
then throw it in your tower.
Right. Get it to 75, and they're all the same.
Exactly.
And you know you're good.
Yeah, don't calibrate to 65 or 68
Mhm.
because you're just not making the hygrometer
point.
work hard enough
Good point.
that I wouldn't call that an accurate
a great point.
calibration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you noticed like recently there was a change with the Boveda calibration? Like the app, the name has changed to
Cigar
Oh,
International. Yeah.
Cigars International bought Boveda.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
when did this happen?
yeah.
Fairly
in the last
recently.
month.
Yeah.
month or
like
two.
a
Wow.
month or two ago.
And I think I honestly,
Wow.
I think it's just data mining. They only bought that app. They only bought that specific thing. They didn't buy Boveda itself.
right.
Hmm.
Not the packs, just the
Just that
Like-
app. I think it's a data mining thing. They're trying to get the cigar user data
Wow.
out of it, probably just to push them emails to sell cigars. That's
Interesting.
my bet.
Wow.
But yeah, I did notice that. I don't have that app, but
I do because of the
because of the Butlers.
Yeah.
So that's a Cigar International product now.
Yeah.
That's
how I found out.
All of a sudden, CI's emailing you
Yeah.
deals for factory seconds.
Yeah.
Grinder, we know you need more Avo domains.
running low.
Running low.
Google knows Atlantic is my preference.
Oh, I love Atlantic.
Atlantic's the best.
They're great.
It's only two women that listen to us, right? Alexa and Siri.
I did tell you Siri's my, secret girlfriend.
Yeah. Bam uses Siri a lot, and it's always wrong, and
Always
it's always
wrong.
hilarious.
Ah,
Endless comedy.
that's great.
All right, boys. So are you ready to do the formal liquor rating on the Basil Hayden's
Sure.
Kentucky Bourbon?
6.
All right. Bam Bam, you're up.
You're out of turn. Yeah, I am hovering between a 6 and a 7. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this. I have to go 6.
Okay. Grinder.
I'm a 6 as well. It's it's uninspiring. It is nice that it's not too harsh, and it's approachable, and you can get it anywhere. So
Yeah.
it's a 6.
Okay. Senator.
I'm in lockstep with these guys. It's a 6. I mean, it's drinkable, but there's nothing that excites you about it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. Didn't need the calculator. 6
There you go.
since the first step.
Yep.
First sip, excuse me, and first step. It's a 6.0 for sure. The formal liquor rating on the Basil Hayden. I think it's a mediocre bourbon. I think for the price, it's fine. If it were $40, $50, $60, I think that would change things a little bit. But for $30, a 6.0 is.
They have another one that they make. It's got a dark purple label.
Yep.
It's even worse.
Really?
It's like true cough syrup.
Wow.
Oh,
All right. Any final thoughts on the Don Pepin Garcia as we come to the end here? The blue label Lancero.
still outstanding.
Yeah, I thought it was very, very good.
About an inch and a half away.
Yeah, I'm about an
inch.
inch.
Mhm.
Yeah, a little further ahead
Delicious.
of you.
Delicious.
All right, Rooster, you ready to do the formal lizard rating on this thing?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it thoroughly. I mean, started off like a nice medium, and I think it ended at a little bit on the fuller side. So, I mean, I'm in between 8 and 9, but I think it's a 9 because for that price point, if you can get that much flavor out of a cigar. And we love the size, and I love the pigtail. It's a Lancero, one of our favorite Vitolas. It's a 9.
Oh yeah.
9 for me too. Right with you. Everything you just said. I'm totally with you. This has been another New World revelation for me. 9 all day. Senator?
I'm in the exact same camp. It's a definite 9, a very strong 9. I think really across the board, it looks beautiful. The presentation's great. The construction is flawless. I honestly think this is one of the best constructed Lanceros I've ever seen.
Agreed.
And the flavor delivers all the way through. I think, like Rooster said, it starts medium, it ends medium full. Some might even say full. So I think there's something in this cigar really for everybody.
Yeah.
Grinder.
I don't need to pile on. It's a 9 for me for all the same reasons.
Awesome.
And Bam Bam.
So I'm also at a 9.
Ooh.
I mean, it's from the point of view of construction, My Father number 4, the construction was also impeccable, performance, great combustion as well. This just had a better kick in flavor. And if you go back and look at the rating that we rated that guy an 8.3. One of us here rated it a 6.
Well, I think Puba gave it a 6.
Yes, he did.
Grinder gave it an 8.
No, they were all 9s except for Puba.
No,
Grinder
gave it
Grinder
an
was
8.
8.
Oh, is that right? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a fair score. It's very accurate.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm looking at the scores. Puba was a 6. Grinder was a 7. The other 5 of us
were 9s.
It was a full house. The other 5 of us were 9s. So that's how we ended up at
8.3. And this is at a 9 now.
This is a 9.0.
Very accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bam asked this question early on, which we preferred. Now, all the way through this, for me, I definitely prefer this.
Totally.
And
100%.
honestly, at the time we did the My Father Lancero, I had never had one of these yet.
Yeah.
Had I had this, I would have given that an 8 and this a 9. But as always, the composite score works out because that you said was what, an 8.3?
8.3.
It's
That's
uncanny.
totally fair.
Uncanny how it works out.
Yeah, it works out every time.
Yeah.
It's totally accurate. I mean, yeah. So
Lizard math never lies.
sometimes it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking at some of the others. I mean, this is definitely performed. The Maestro del Tiempo, which is a Lonsdale,
Yeah.
which is another cigar we loved, was also a 9.0.
Mhm.
And the La Palina Goli Leguito number 2, which we did on a recent episode, was a 6.8. And as we mentioned, the My Father number 4 Lancero was an 8.3. Now, the Ashton VSG Lonsdale, which is not a Lonsdale, that's a cigar we all went and bought
like that.
boxes of.
That was high.
Yes.
That was an 8.8. So
Yeah.
this did edge that out, and I think rightfully.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that this definitely edges that out on is construction. One thing I will say with the Ashton VSG, I love the flavor of that cigar, but sometimes if you look at them, some of them don't look very pretty.
It's toothy. It's got
Yeah.
a very toothy wrapper.
Yeah, the wrapper on this is beautiful.
It's
It's
flawless.
impeccable.
Milk chocolate.
And
no veins.
thank you, Rooster, for introducing us to this.
Yeah, this was a great
Yeah.
find.
I
man.
kind of just stumbled upon
Yeah.
the My Father and this
Well,
one.
don't say that. You're a
Yeah.
master procurer.
The procurer.
We're waiting for it, Bam. Procure me a box.
So the other cigar that we did from My Father, Don Pepin, we did it on episode 23, was a cigar we did not love, which was My Father the Judge,
Oof.
which came in at a 5.6. That was not a great
No,
cigar.
I put that in the garden.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great fertilizer.
But yeah, so this is right up there with the Maestro del Tiempo as far as our long shorties, Lonsdales and Lanceros at a 9.0. So I think that's a perfect score for this. So, all right, boys, great conversation. Great being with you tonight. We had a 6.0 on the Basil Hayden, their regular issue Kentucky Bourbon, and we had a 9.0 on the Don Pepin Garcia Blue Label in Lancero.
Strong recommend.
Strong
Yes,
recommend. For
absolutely.
$9, 9.0, $9, run out and buy it.
It's a must to have in your collection.
I
A
agree.
must.
I'm very curious what Puba would rate this.
That's a good question. I think
Yeah.
he would like it, but
Let's have him smoke it.
I think it
this
would
is
be
definitely more
higher
his
than the
speed
number
than
4.
Than the My Father.
I
for
agree.
Sure.
I agree. All right, boys. Great night. We'll see y'all next week. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for joining us. You can find our merch store and ratings archive at our brand new website, loungelizardspod.com. That's loungelizardspod.com. Don't forget to leave us a rating and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. If you have any comments, questions, if you want to reach out, say hello, tell us what you're smoking, email us, hello@loungelizardspod.com. You can also find us on Instagram @loungelizardspod. We really appreciate your time, and we'll see you next week.